Hey Commanders fans, get ready, because today we have exclusive news about our team, and you can't miss a single detail. So take advantage and subscribe to the channel, activate the bell to receive everything firsthand, and of course, leave a like to strengthen our support and show that there are only true fans here. Our commitment is to always bring you the latest updates, news, and everything that goes on behind the scenes at Commanders. So, without further ado, let's check out today's news. The Commanders are set to formally meet with the top running back prospect in the NFL draft. All 32 NFL teams are gearing up for the offseason after the 2024 season ends. And for the Commanders, they have a lot of work to do to rebuild a roster that has a tremendous amount of free agents. This week marks the start of the NFL Scouting Combine, where scouts will have a chance to evaluate potential recruits before free agency begins. The Commanders did a great job last offseason in the NFL draft, and while they will be picking late in the season, they could find a way to move up to a higher position if they can find a trade partner for star defensive tackle Jonathan Allen. With that possibility, the Commanders have emerged as a potential suitor for mid-first to second-half recruits, potentially putting them in a position to emerge with one of the draft's top prospects. One of those draft prospects comes in the form of the number 2 Heisman Trophy contender, former Boise State Broncos standout running back Ashton Jeanty, with whom the team formally scheduled a meeting this week, according to Ryan Fowler of the Draft Network. Washington has Brian Robinson Jr., Austin Ekeler, and Chris Rodriguez Jr. under contract through the 2025 season, but it would be hard to pass up a talent like Jeanty. Jeanty exploded in 2024 on his way to becoming a consensus All-American and winning the Doak Walker and Maxwell Awards before finishing second to Travis Hunter for the Heisman. In 2024, Jeanty led the FBS in rushing attempts, 374, and rushing yards, 2,601, on his way to 29 touchdowns. He was extremely effective on the ground, and while he wasn't used much in the passing game this season, he did total 80 receptions for 862 yards and 6 touchdowns over his 3-year college career with the Broncos. Jeanty has also become one of the most talked-about character guys in this year's draft, which would likely fit in very well in the Commanders' locker room. Adding him to a potent offense would help elevate it to another level. But I believe the Commanders could use help elsewhere this early in the draft, whether it's on the defensive side of the ball or another skilled wide receiver opposite clear WR1 Terry McLaurin. Commanders reporter weighs in on Myles Garrett trade rumors. Shortly after Cleveland Browns star Myles Garrett made public his desire to be traded before Super Bowl 59, speculation began to swirl about potential destinations for the pass rusher. Among the teams listed as favorites, at least one NFL analyst identified the Washington Commanders as the best candidate to acquire the player if he does indeed leave Cleveland. On Thursday morning, ESPN's Commanders reporter John Keim posed a key question. Does Washington have enough to convince the Browns to give up Garrett this offseason? The question arises in light of speculation about the amount needed to complete a potential trade. There is no official demand, but league sources believe the Browns would demand at least 2 first-round picks, Keim said. It would also depend on where those picks are in the draft. Under the current scenario, Washington could offer the 29th pick in the 2025 draft and a future first-round pick in 2026. However, with the Commanders coming off a run that took them to the NFC Championship and boasting a promising young quarterback in Jaden Daniels, the 2026 pick could be in a less attractive position for the Browns. Despite the growing buzz, signals coming out of Cleveland indicate that the team has no immediate plans to part with Garrett. Browns general manager Andrew Berry and head coach Kevin Stefanski reinforced that position during interviews at this week's NFL Scouting Combine, making it clear that the pass rusher is a key piece for the team's future. However, Tony Grossi, Browns insider for ESPN Cleveland/The Land on Demand, suggested that despite the team's official stance, a trade could become feasible after June 1st. One determining factor in that scenario would be Garrett's expectations regarding his contract. The All-Pro is looking to become the highest-paid defensive player in the league before he steps foot in a regular season game again, which could put pressure on the Browns to reconsider their position. Keim also noted that the Commanders are in a prime position to make an aggressive move. With Daniels still on a rookie contract, Washington has the financial room to not only trade for Garrett, but also offer him a lucrative contract extension to secure his long-term tenure, the reporter explained. It's worth noting that Garrett's current contract does not include a no-trade clause, meaning he has no direct control over his fate. However, he could pressure the Browns to consider an offer they can't refuse if they are serious about moving to a contender this offseason. Another factor that could favor the Commanders is the Detroit Lions' apparent withdrawal from the race for Garrett. With less competition, Washington could avoid a bidding war and have a better chance of getting a deal done. Still, for that trade to happen, Garrett may need to make his intention to leave even more evident, forcing the Browns to reconsider their stance. Former Super Bowl champion QB, worth $120 million, could be a solution for Commanders. The Washington Commanders thrived in 2024 with a veteran backup quarterback behind rookie Jaden Daniels, who is on pace to be named NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year. Now that Marcus Mariota is a free agent and appears to be a popular and expensive insurance policy as a backup quarterback for a multitude of teams, the Commanders might be smart to try to emulate that balance on their roster. A free agent quarterback who could fit well in that role would be former Super Bowl MVP Joe Flacco, who has spent the past 5 seasons as a reliable backup after spending a decade as the starter for the Baltimore Ravens. Flacco is ranked as the number 5 quarterback available as a free agent in the 2025 cycle by Sharp Football Analysis. Decade of dominance in Baltimore. Flacco spent 2024 with the Indianapolis Colts on a 1-year, $4.5 million deal, a value that will likely drop to somewhere around a 1-year, $3 million deal in 2025. It's worth noting that Flacco still has value nearly 2 decades into his NFL career. Flacco will be in his 18th NFL season in 2025, having been drafted by the Ravens in the first round of the 2008 NFL Draft, number 18 overall, out of the University of Delaware. After New England Patriots special teams star Matthew Slater retired after the 2023 season, Flacco was the only remaining active NFL player from the 2008 draft. For comparison, another 2008 first-round pick has already been hired and fired as an NFL head coach, 10th overall pick Jared Mayo. Flacco was a star for the Ravens in the first decade of his career. In 11 seasons as a starter in Baltimore, Flacco led the franchise to the AFC Championship game 3 times and won a Super Bowl after the 2012 season, when he tied Joe Montana's postseason record with 11 touchdowns and no interceptions. In a 34-31 victory over the San Francisco 49ers in Super Bowl 47, Flacco completed 22 of 33 passes for 287 yards and 3 touchdowns, earning him Super Bowl MVP. The fact that Flacco did this in a season when he was entering free agency made his performance even more remarkable. He earned a 6-year, $120 million contract during the offseason, the largest contract for a quarterback in NFL history at the time. Flacco in the journeyman stage of his NFL career. Flacco was replaced by 2-time NFL MVP Lamar Jackson as the Ravens starter midway through the 2018 season and was traded to the Denver Broncos after the season in exchange for a 4th-round pick. Flacco went 2-6 as a starter for the Broncos in 2019 before season-ending neck surgery, and he was released after failing a physical. Since then, Flacco has been a high-profile backup for 4 different teams: the New York Jets, Philadelphia Eagles, Cleveland Browns, and Colts. Flacco was brilliant for the Browns in 2023, when he joined the team in Week 13 and went 4-1 as a starter down the stretch to lead the Browns to the playoffs. Flacco was named NFL Comeback Player of the Year after the season.